Oh, what a good morning it is. Wow, it looks bright in here. Hey, happy Victory Monday. What a game last night, dude. What a game. Uh, been a little MIA on this. I mean, it was bye week last week, so didn't have anything to talk about anyways. But we're back. First video in a couple weeks, and what a game last night was. What a game it was. Sunday night football, Broncos, Commanders, absolute. I don't know if you could classify it as a shootout, but holy shit, was it a close ass game. Uh, Man, dude. I mean, I'm not mad at it though. Like I know a lot of people probably are like, yeah, the Broncos should have won by a million, but like, dude, a win's a win, and like, if anything, we're just continuing to prove that we can show up in the moments that matter, come up in the big moments, come up in the clutch. So, obviously we would have liked to have watched ourselves win this game by a lot, but I think people are forgetting this is a Commanders team that was in the NFC Championship game last year. And like I know their record is I know they were 3-8 going into the night, but like let's be honest, they've been struggling with a lot of injuries. Jane Daniels has missed like half the year. Scary Terry, that was his first game back in like 8 games. Like they've been missing a lot of pieces, dealing with a lot of injuries. So like I know their record shows a worse team, but like that was still the NFC Championship team from last year. You know what I mean? Like let's be so for real. They're still a good team. Just had a bad year with injuries and all that good stuff. So, but anyways, let's dive into this game last night. Great game, man. Like I said, absolute shootout, finished in overtime. Um, which side of the ball should we talk about first? Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball first. Um, my thoughts on the defensive performance. Ultimately, man, like it wasn't their best game for sure, but like I don't think it was a terrible game at all. You know what I mean? Like again, this is like a Washington offense that finally has all of its pieces, but well, outside of Jane Daniels, but like its receiving core, its running back, like it's they finally had all their pieces. They had Ertz, McLaurin, and Debo all on the field at the same time for the first time like forever. It seems like they finally kind of figured out their running back room a little more. They've been giving Rodriguez a lot more of the carries, and he seems to be doing a lot better. Um, I mean Mariota. I mean, bro was just playing like Lamar Jackson last night. I mean, he had 10 carries for 55 yards. I mean, who would have thought that from watching? Oh, sorry. How are they saying last night? Mariota. Like, who would have thought? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Is that too bright? Nah. Yeah. Ultimately, I don't think the defense played a bad game. I do think Washington maybe found a formula that we're a little weak on. They had a lot of quick passes, a lot of quick throws, and that seemed to be working for them a lot. It seemed kind of like the longer the play extended, the better in a position we are, except for towards the end of the game. We'll get there. But I mean, for the most part, I feel like the defense played well. I mean, Mariota was the real issue there. I think if we could have kept his scrambling down to a minimum, it would have been a much better game for us. I mean, McLaurin had a great game. Zach Ertz had a great game. Zach Ertz, 10 catches for 106 yards. That's crazy. I mean, that's a big game from a tight end right there. Scary Terry, 7 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. Debo, 5 receptions for 64 yards, including that big one down there in uh, overtime to get them down onto like the 3 yard line. Um, Man. Also, let's just talk about it. One of those that catch by Traylon Burks, insane. That's probably one of the catches of the year. Riley Moss couldn't have played him any better. I mean, that was just what a catch, dude. What a hell of a catch. Riley Moss did get toasted by Debo on that overtime touchdown, but that's neither here nor there. He did get toasted, but I think Moss had a good game. Moss got mossed by Burks though. Let's just be so for real. But no, defensively, I think we played fine. We had one takeaway. We had a pick. I was just confused. The only thing that was kind of confused me a little is we usually bring so much pressure, and for some reason last night we had like we only were running pressure on like 5% of plays or something. I think I saw, and I'm just really confused as to why. I don't know if it's because they just were having so many quick throws that it like kind of wasn't worth it. But like, I mean, you could see when we brought pressure, that's when the mistakes were made. You know what I mean? Like when we brought pressure, that's when Mariota threw his pick. He felt the heat coming towards him. He just tried to throw it, prevent the sack, and it resulted in a pick. That last play of the game, we brought pressure, and Bonitto was able to slap the ball down. But I mean, ultimately, I don't think it was a great game defensively. I don't think it was that bad of a game. I think like that's a Washington team that has a lot of weapons. Ertz is a good tight end. McLaurin is a good receiver. Debo's a good receiver. Rodriguez is a good running back. McNichols was having like a good game running too. I mean, like if anything, I would say our weakest point was our rush defense that game for sure. I mean, like I said, Mariota scrambled 10 times for 55 yards. Rodriguez only ran the ball 11 times, but for 41 yards. McNichols 6 times for 30 yards. Like Krosky Merritt 4 times for 20 yards. Like Mariota, McNichols, and Krosky Merritt were all averaging 5 yards a carry. Rodriguez was averaging 4. So I would definitely say our weakest point that game was our rushing defense for sure. I think there was I want to say it was in the third quarter, maybe early fourth. The Commanders had a 3rd and 2, and they tried throwing a fade to Scary Terry. Thank God, because it was incomplete. I think if they would have ran it, they would have easily converted. I'd say our rush defense was a big issue that game. But even like, I mean, even Pat Surtain kind of got toasted like once or twice by McLaurin, but not, I mean, toasted is a strong word. Maybe only like once. I think there was only one time he like legit got beat. I wish I knew how the pick rule worked because it's very confusing to me. I mean that touchdown in overtime, to me it seemed like a blatant pick. I mean Debo shoulder checked Pat Surtain on the crossing route, and that's what freed up Terry to get wide open. But I don't know. I always thought that was a penalty. I didn't think you were allowed to like. I thought that was like a blatant pick, but I don't know. I don't know. There was another one ran on the 2-point conversion too, where there was a pick, and that's what freed up. I think it was McNichols. I think is the running back that Mariota was trying to get it to. They ran a pick for him too, and it didn't get called either. Luckily, it got batted down because he was wide open. But 2 back-to-back plays where I'm not really sure how the pick rule works. Maybe I need to look into it more, but it was 2 blatant times where the receiver was bumping into the cornerback, and so to me, I thought that was a pick. But I guess I don't know. Maybe I don't know the specific rules of it all. But anyways, like I said, ultimately, I don't think it was a great game defensively, but I don't think it was like a terrible game defensively. Like Washington has a good offense. I think their record does not speak for how good of a team they are. Like when you're missing your pieces, obviously you're not going to look as good. So now that they finally had them all back, again, other than Daniels, of course they're going to look good. Mariota looked crazy good all of a sudden for some reason. I don't know if they just found a formula that works against our defense, but I definitely think that's something that they are going to have to kind of figure out, because I'm sure other teams are watching this game and saying like, okay, so quick throws and scrambling seems to kind of work, you know what I mean? But you know, we'll see. I'm sure the Broncos will watch film too and adjust, but let's see. Hufanga had 10 solo tackles. I mean, dude, I love this guy. One of my favorite players for sure. Bonitto had a sack, a forced fumble, and then that huge bat down at the end of the game. Love him. I mean, can't speak enough about him. Alex Singleton, he played his first game since coming back from his cancer surgery. He had a great game. He had that huge pass breakup on Zach Ertz in the middle of the field on it was like a 20, 30 yard pass. Alex Singleton dropped back into coverage with him and knocked it out of his hands. That was great play by him. I do think there is a conversation to be had about our cornerback 2 position. I think McMillan is really good. I think he could definitely do it. I mean, we drafted Jahdae Barron in the first round. I think he could do it. I don't think Riley Moss is a bad cornerback at all. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sit here and shit on him, but you know, it seems to be when a big play is given up, it's him that's being targeted. I mean, you could see it last night. They were constantly targeting him, and eventually it worked. Again, I'm not going to hold the Burks one against him, that touchdown, because like that was just a crazy ass catch. You know, he couldn't have played it better. I mean, what are you gonna do? That's a hell of a play on his part. I'm not gonna hold that one against him, but like he did get burnt by Debo late in the overtime. That set them up for their touchdown. I don't know. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be like DB number 2 on the team, but I think it is a conversation. I think McMillan has been having some crazy good games lately. I think Jahdae Barron he almost had a pick last night. Like I love all 4 of the guys, but I think it is a conversation where if Riley Moss is constantly getting targeted, if he is the one either giving up penalties or giving up big plays, maybe it is a conversation. It's hard because he's like a lockdown corner 90% of the time, but then that other 10% of the time, it's either a huge chunk play or a huge penalty. So it's tough, man. I love the guy, and I think he's like teetering being like just like a perfect cornerback. I think if he can clean up those issues, then he's a fine across from Pat. But it just seems like every time there's a big play, it's headed in his direction. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe I'm being hard on the guy. I don't know. But like I said, not a great game defensively, but I don't think it was a terrible game defensively. So, all right, let's jump on to the offensive side of the ball now. Let's start with our boy Bo. 29 for 45, threw for 321 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. I actually love this game from Bo. I thought Bo looked like the most confident he's ever been. It didn't feel like he was rushing. It didn't feel like he was like dancing around too much. It just felt like when he was throwing the ball, he was throwing it very decisively. I mean, dude, he was slinging that thing. There was a couple plays where, I mean, he was just whipping it into someone's arms in really tight coverage. And, like, I love that from him. I love that. He looked really confident out there. Whether it was in the pocket or whether it was scrambling, I mean, he was just throwing dots, man. He was throwing dots, and we love to see that. He's throwing really well on the run this game. I loved it. I do think he has a tendency to leave the pocket a little early sometimes, but, who am I? I'm no professional quarterback. It seems to be working. As far as last night goes, it seemed to be working. So, like, as long as he's able to do it, then sure. But, I mean, he had a couple throws where he just was off one foot and just zipping it into someone's arms. And, I mean, he just looked so confident out there. He also scrambled a few times. I think only, like, twice. Let me see. So, yeah, twice for 16 yards. I would love to see that number go up from him, man. Like, Mariota scrambled 10 times for 55 yards. I so easily think that's something Bo could do. There's a lot of these plays where he's dropping back and he's feeling the pressure, and he either forces a throw, he throws it into the dirt, or throws it away. He didn't have his gamely intentional grounding penalty, which was nice. He usually has one of those games. He didn't have that, but there's a lot of these opportunities where he's starting to scramble, and then instead of trying to take off and run with it, like I said, he either throws it into the dirt, he throws it at someone's feet, or he tries to force it. And I'd love to see him scramble more, man. He's a fast guy. Like, he's a fast quarterback. Anytime he has scrambled, it's been for a lot. I think he was second in the league for like his average when he takes off. I think Justin Herbert was at like 10.4 yards. He's at like 10.2. So I mean, obviously, when he's scrambling, it's working. I mean, like I said, he was averaging 8 yards every time he did scramble last night. So I would love to see him scramble the amount of times that Mariota was. I think if Marcus Mariota can scramble for 55 yards in a game, Bo could easily do it too. You know what I mean? I mean, Josh Allen does the same thing where, they look at their first few reads, they scramble onto the outside to try to get something open, but then once it's not open, they take off. I'd love to see Bo do that. I mean, he has the wheels for it. He definitely could do it. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if it's just like he'd really rather throw the ball first, which makes sense. I mean, you're a quarterback. Of course, he'd rather throw the ball first, but he's got the wheels for it. I'd love to see him take off in these times and at least get a couple yards versus throwing it into the dirt and it's kind of a wasted down. But like I said, I think Bo played a pretty phenomenal game. His own real mistake last night was that interception. It was definitely a forced throw. Definitely was not necessary. For a team and a quarterback that has a lot of check down plays in front of him, it felt like a really weird decision from him. I mean, he had 2 checkdowns. He had Troy Franklin and then 46. I can't remember his name. He's our fullback, like wide open in front of him. Granted, I don't know if either of them would have gotten the first down on that play. It was like a 3rd and 10. It would have been very reliant on them catching, turning, and making a move to get the first. But instead, he forced a ball over the middle and threw a pick. So, I mean, I would much rather put it in the receiver's hands and like rely on them making that move to try to get the first, and if not, just punting versus forcing a ball and throwing a pick and giving them much better field position. So, besides that one pick, man, I think Bo played a great game. That touchdown throw to Sutton was gorgeous, man. I mean, he's falling, sidearm, like knee is almost touching the ground. I mean, he's literally in the process of getting tackled. He sidearms while falling down, and just a beauty into Sutton's chest, man. I mean, I was hyped, man. That was a great throw. That would have been like play of the game if it wasn't for that insane ass catch Traylon Burks had. But yeah, ultimately I think Bo played great, man. Like I said, I would just love to see him use his legs a bit more and just create opportunities that way versus trying to force balls or just throwing it away at somebody's feet. I will say a big issue of our, well, at least I don't want to say it's a big issue of ours all the time, but at least last night we got to the red zone like 2 or 3 times and had to settle for field goals, man. It would be really nice if we could finish those drives. I think that's a big key for us, is just finishing drives. We got down there a couple times and had to settle for field goals, which is a bummer. But also, let me say this. I'm telling you, man, when we run an up-tempo offense, we are a good team. I mean, that drive into this first half, it was 2 minutes left on the clock, or maybe a little over. It took us 5 plays to get down there, and it was like 5 plays, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Dude, when we play tempo, man, I think that's where our offense really, really thrives. It's same with the overtime drive. I mean, we scored that touchdown in like 3 minutes. Maybe that was the 5-play one. No, for 3 minutes, I don't think so. I don't remember. But one of the drives was only 5 plays. But either way, there was a 2-minute touchdown drive and a 3-minute touchdown drive. I know that they can't do that the whole game, but part of me is like, well, why can't they? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I know that they like to conserve the clock and use it for themselves, but I love watching this offense run tempo, man. Like, I just feel like we're a lot more smoothly operated when we go at tempo versus, I don't know, there's some times where we get to the line and there's like 10 seconds left. So Bo's got to try to read the defense, make any adjustments that quick. And I don't think usually, it doesn't seem like he's making a lot of adjustments. So, but I love watching this tempo, man. I hope that they can run that more often, or, use that same tempo momentum, but just draw it out for a longer drive. I don't know. Whatever it is for tempo is working, and I hope they can keep doing it. Otherwise than that, RJ Harvey had 13 carries for 35 yards, so not a big running game for him. I would actually love to see McLaughlin get a few more carries. I actually really liked McLaughlin last night. I think he had a couple big runs. He was averaging 4 yards a carry. I do like RJ Harvey as our lead back. I think he's a great back. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns last night. Granted, they were both like pretty close to the end zone, but I just think I know there was one play specifically, I want to say it was in the third quarter. It was like a power run, supposed to be straight up the middle. I mean, you could see the offense pushed him back. Like, he had a good few yards, but instead he tried bouncing it to the outside. It should have been a tackle for a loss, but luckily he was just elusive enough to break a few tackles and get like 3. But you can just tell that there's that inexperience there. I mean, it was a hole right up the middle for him, and instead he tried to bounce to the outside. But yeah, I'd love to see McLaughlin maybe get a couple more touches. He seemed to be having a good game last night. He's a good power back. I think you get him a few more touches, kind of mix him in there with Harvey. Because I really like Harvey as a receiving back. He still had 3 catches for 27 yards last night, but I really like RJ Harvey as a receiving back because he does well in space. Like, if you get Harvey the ball with some space, he's able to make moves. He's able to put his shoulder down. I really love him as a receiving back. So I'd love to mix McLaughlin a little more for rushing and then keep using RJ Harvey as a receiving back. Because even Tyler Batty had 3 catches for 18 yards, and I do like Batty, but like I do think RJ Harvey's just able to do more with that space. So like if giving McLaughlin the ball more rushing gave RJ Harvey more receiving opportunities, I'd love that split. I would love that a lot more. But ultimately, it was a decent game from Harvey. Like I said, only averaging 2.7 yards a carry. It's not like the greatest running game. You could definitely tell we're missing Dobbins, man. I mean, like I said, that play I was just talking about a minute ago, I think Dobbins hits that hole 10 times out of 10 and gets 5 yards at least out of it, 5-6 yards. So you can definitely tell we're missing Dobbins in our rushing game. But I think McLaughlin's capable. I think Harvey's capable. I think we'll be okay. Obviously, you wish we had Dobbins. It's a bummer, but that's football. I just think finding the right split, the right balance with Harvey, McLaughlin, using Harvey as a rushing back, but a receiving back also. Like I said, I like Bidet, but I just think from what we've seen, Harvey can do more when he receives the ball in space than Bidet can. Other than that, Sutton had a great game. Let me see. Yeah, he got targeted 6 times, which is like still not typically as much as you'd like to see from your wide receiver one, but you'll take it. He had 5 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Evan Ingram had a big game. I actually liked seeing this. It's nice to see they had all this talk before the season about Evan Ingram being our joker, and he's just kind of hasn't been that great this season. But 6 catches, 79 yards last night, including that big 41-yard play in overtime to get us set up for the touchdown. I mean, that was huge. Made a great move. Got Bobby Wagner off of him. Bobby, that was a matchup they probably could have taken advantage of a lot. Bobby Wagner's great, but he's slower for sure. So taking advantage of that middle of the field, Evan Ingram got open. Turned the wheels on. He's faster than, I don't know, watching that play, he looked fast, man. He looked faster than I would have thought. So it was nice to see this Joker role finally getting used. But other than that, man, pretty balanced game receiving-wise overall. Adam Troutman, Pat Bryant, RJ Harvey all had 3 catches. Troy Franklin only had 2, which is surprising. Troy Franklin only got targeted 3 times, which is the complete opposite of what's been happening the last few weeks. But Bo was taking what was given to him instead of forcing it. Besides that one throw, man. So ultimately, like I said, I know that people are gonna look at our record and look at their record and be like, they should have won this game they should have won by 1 million. It shouldn't have been this close. But let's be for real. This is a Commanders team that was just in an NFC Championship game last year. They didn't really lose many big pieces. They only added on. But obviously, I know Jaden Daniels was out. People are gonna be like, if Jaden Daniels played, I bet they went. Whatever, man. This was a trap game, and we came out with the win. You know what I mean? A lot of people I'm assuming the Broncos still aren't going to get credit. They're number 1 in the AFC now. Tied record with, at least at the time I'm filming this, they're tied with the Patriots at 10-2 if the Patriots play tonight. But we're number 1 in the AFC as I record this. I still think people aren't going to give us the credit, you know what I mean? But I know that there's a world where you look at this and you say they should have won by more, but let's be logistic here. If you take the records away, if you look at just the teams, if you take the records away, the Commanders are a good team. They were in the NFC Championship game last year for a reason. They added offensive weapons. They just haven't been on the field all at the same time. Mariota played a decent game. You know what I mean? It was a good game. I love watching our team grind out these wins. Even if they're ugly, a win is a win. Shout out Nick Bonitto. That was such a crazy clutch play at the end to jump up and bat that ball down. Shout out Bo. Had a great game. Great game all around. We're happy with this. We're taking this dub. Obviously, you wish we came out looking a little cleaner after the bye week, but honestly, I feel like I liked our offense. I had no complaints with our play calling last night. I think that's the first time maybe ever this season where I didn't hate our play calling. I think we had great play calling. Like I said, I think our defense played okay. I don't think it was their best game, but I don't think it was their worst. I think our offense had a really good game. Again, not like the craziest game in the world, but it was a solid game all around. It was a close game. It was a battle, man. That game was a war, and we came out to win. So we can't ask for more, We can't expect us to just blow out every team. There's going to be close games here and there. Well, in our case, every game this season has been a close game, basically, other than when we destroyed Dallas. Shout out Nate. But we're winning these close games. We're finding ways to win, and that's all that matters, because in the playoffs, a lot of these games are going to be close. And what matters is if you find a way to win. It doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. It just matters that you get the dub. So happy with this win. Loved watching our team on prime time. I love getting to watch them in prime time and not at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a lot of fun. So big prime time dub. Hopefully we showed some people that don't typically watch us at the 2 o'clock slate that we're a good team. We're a team to beat for sure. And yeah, so big dub. Happy Victory Monday, everybody. That's what hopefully I'm going to try to get it up today, but happy Victory Monday. Hope everyone has a great week. And we're moving on to, who do we have next? The Jaguars, right? Let me see. Oh, no, we play the Raiders. We don't play the Jags for 3 weeks. We got the Raiders next week. So that should be, that's what I'll say. This game, I think, was a trap game. I think the Commanders are a good team. We came out with the dub in a close game. This Raiders team, I think this is a game we should win by a couple touchdowns for sure. I would like to see us win this game by a couple touchdowns. I think we looked really sloppy on that Thursday night game against them. This will be the game to show up and show out. But anyways, I could talk about that at a different time. Jesus. What are you doing up there? Anyways, I got to go get her down. Thank you guys for watching. Broncos country, let's ride.